She gave everything, her time, her love, her softness. She answered texts quickly, forgave easily, and stayed patient when he grew distant. She believed that showing up fully would eventually make him see her worth. But instead, he pulled away, and she was left asking, why do I always end up chasing the one I just want to feel chosen by? If you've ever felt invisible after being emotionally available, if you've ever watched him lose interest the moment you got closer, this message is for you. This isn't about playing games. It's about understanding the psychology of attraction and emotional balance, because when you start showing up in your power, everything changes. You don't chase, you attract. You don't convince, you choose. In this video, we're not just talking about how to make a man chase you. We're talking about how to finally stop chasing love that doesn't know how to hold you and start becoming the woman he never saw coming but can't walk away from. Have you ever found yourself refreshing your messages, waiting for him to text back, or questioning whether you said too much, showed too much, felt too much? It's exhausting, isn't it? There's a deep ache that comes when you're constantly looking for signs that he still cares, when you shift your mood based on his responses, when his approval feels like oxygen, and without it, you feel like you're slowly suffocating. Here's the honest, liberating truth. The moment you need his validation to feel secure, you hand him the power to define your worth. This isn't your fault. Many women are taught from early on that love must be earned by being agreeable, by being low management, by being everything but too much. So it makes sense why you might think if you just say the right thing, look the right way, or feel a little less, he'll stay. But real connection doesn't grow from performance. It grows from presence, the kind of presence that knows I am already enough, with or without your approval. When a man senses that you see yourself as valuable, without needing him to constantly reassure it, he begins to perceive you differently, not as someone to manage, fix, or keep guessing, but as someone to earn, someone to respect, someone to rise for. Psychologically, this taps into a natural truth. Humans are drawn to what feels secure and self-assured. When you are centered in your own value, you're no longer chasing breadcrumbs. You're choosing whether someone meets your standards. Here's what this looks like in practice. You stop over-explaining. You don't beg for clarity. You speak your truth with grace, and if you can't handle it, you don't twist yourself to make him stay. This doesn't make you cold, it makes you clear. The man who's right for you won't need to be convinced. He'll recognize the value you bring because you've already recognized it in yourself. He won't treat you like a backup plan. He'll show up with intention because he'll know that presence is the only way to earn your heart. Let this be the moment you come home to yourself. You don't need to be chosen to feel worthy. You already are. And from that place of wholeness, the chase reverses. Because now, he's drawn to what can't be shaken by silence. That is the quiet power of knowing your value. Have you ever felt like the more you gave, the more he pulled away? You showed up with honesty. You stayed available, thinking your presence would build trust. You answered quickly, loved consistently, and gave fully, hoping that consistency would bring closeness. But instead of leaning in, he started leaning out. The connection that once felt effortless suddenly became confusing, distant, fragile. It's painful when your love feels like it's chasing someone who's slipping away. But here's something that may feel hard to hear, yet deeply freeing. Sometimes being always available doesn't bring him closer, it makes him feel smothered. Not because you did anything wrong, but because he hasn't built the emotional maturity to hold consistent intimacy. Some men equate closeness with pressure, even if you never pressured them at all. For emotionally unavailable individuals, intimacy can trigger a quiet panic. It demands vulnerability, reflection, and emotional accountability. That's what makes space so powerful. Psychologically, desire grows in space. The mind naturally seeks what isn't constantly present, not because it values games, but because it needs contrast to feel connection. Just like we only notice light because we've seen darkness, closeness is most deeply felt after space. Creating space doesn't mean withdrawing to punish, it means reclaiming your center. Instead of anxiously waiting on his next move, you return to your own. You engage your life, not as a performance to make him notice you, but because your life is full, beautiful, and worthy, with or without his attention. When you allow space, you give him the chance to choose you without pressure. You stop filling in the gaps. You stop initiating every text. You stop rescuing the silence with overcompensation. And in doing so, you shift the dynamic because you're no longer trying to be chosen. You're watching to see if he shows up. And if he doesn't, that's your clarity, not your failure. Because you're not here to convince someone to want you. You're here to attract the kind of love that meets you with the same energy. Let your stillness speak. Let your space create reflection. The man who is capable will lean in, not because you chased, but because your self-respect did all the speaking. You're not too much, you're just no longer settling for too little. And that's where your power truly begins. Have you ever felt like you're doing all the work to keep the connection alive? You're the one initiating conversations, checking in, planning time together, trying to fix what feels off. And the more distant he becomes, the more effort you put in, hoping that if you love harder, show more patience, or stay a little longer, he'll finally meet you halfway. But the truth is, the more you overcompensate, the more he withdraws. Not because you're unlovable, but because overgiving in the face of emotional withdrawal often reinforces his avoidance rather than healing it. When a man feels you doing the emotional lifting for both of you, he may unconsciously relax into passivity. Instead of rising to meet you, he lets you carry the bond, not out of malice, but out of emotional fear, discomfort with intimacy, or a need to preserve control. Psychologically, some men experience closeness as a threat to their autonomy. When emotions deepen, it stirs up internal resistance. Will I lose my independence? Will I be expected to give what I'm not ready to offer? Will she see parts of me I haven't accepted myself? In that discomfort, they pull back, and in your love, you reach forward, trying to rescue what's slipping away. But here's the gentle truth: connection cannot be carried by one person. Instead of overcompensating, try mirroring. Let his energy set the pace, not to punish, but to observe. If he makes time for you, mirror that. If he communicates consistently, meet him there. But when he pulls away, don't run after him. Reflect the space, not out of silence, but out of self-respect. Mirroring is not a game, it's a boundary. It sends a message without blame: I won't give more than I'm receiving, and I won't shrink to keep something drifting by choice. This approach builds emotional clarity for both of you. He'll either lean in because he misses your presence, or he'll stay distant, revealing what you need to see. Either way, you gain something powerful: the truth. You're not here to be the glue that holds a man's inconsistency together. You're here to be met by someone who chooses you freely, not out of guilt or fear of losing you, but because they value you deeply. So step back, not in anger, but in strength. The kind of strength that whispers, I won't fight to be seen by someone who keeps closing their eyes. And in that quiet dignity, you reclaim not just the connection, but your self-worth. Have you ever found yourself falling deeper into someone while slowly losing sight of who you are? You begin by sharing love, softness, and understanding, but somewhere along the way, your emotional giving becomes your identity in the relationship. You feel deeply, give endlessly, forgive quickly, and before you know it, you're no longer grounded in your own center. You're spinning around his moods, his responses, his needs. This is what happens when love becomes a one-way channel. And it's heartbreaking because you didn't do it to be weak. You did it from a place of care. But there's a quiet danger in giving without boundaries. It creates an emotional imbalance that slowly drains your self-worth. Emotionally unavailable men often seek connection that feels real, but only up to the point that it challenges their emotional defenses. When intimacy deepens, It can confront their ego, stir past trauma, or highlight a fear of being seen. Instead of embracing that depth, they pull away. And you, in your effort to hold on, step in to carry more, feel more, fix more. But the truth is, a relationship cannot thrive if one person is feeling for both. Healthy love doesn't ask you to disappear. It asks you to show up as yourself. Emotionally open, yes, but also emotionally rooted. So what does that look like? It means expressing your feelings without making them your entire identity. It means caring deeply while still keeping your feet on the ground. It means choosing love, but never at the cost of your dignity. Psychologically, people are drawn to what feels both emotionally safe and energetically balanced. When you stay connected to yourself while offering care, you create a dynamic that allows a man to lean in, not out of pressure, but out of genuine respect and emotional resonance. Giving emotion without losing yourself means showing up with presence, not over-explaining, not convincing, not chasing. You let your truth be known, but you don't abandon your peace when it's not received. And if he walks away, let him. Because your emotional depth isn't the problem, it's your superpower. But it was never meant to be poured into someone who can't hold it. So let this be your reminder. Your heart can stay soft. Your boundaries can stay firm. You don't have to become less to be loved more. Stay grounded in your worth, and the right love will find you, one that honors your emotion without making you lose yourself in it.